Hey there, and welcome to the Final Fantasy for Free Enterprise Friday night community race. Tonight we have a kind of hybrid flag set based on the recent Eblin Elixir League. It should be really exciting, and we're glad to have you along. The flag set is called This Is Fine. It has a K main, K trap kind of feel going on with a win game. You have to do 7 of the 8 objectives to win the game. No Zeromus tonight. My name is Sheep Launcher. I am here in the commentary booth with Deathlike. Deathlike, we have a Kane hero and a really interesting set of objectives. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Not being betrayed. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. This is fine. Like this flag set, it's fine. Everything. I mean, you can see the fire theme going on with with a little hint of explosions because you might have to show you have to attack you have to defeat Blarg as who doesn't love Blarg when it shows up. This time you actually have to hunt for it. So even though you have 7 out of 8, you're probably going to stumble onto some of the bosses. Although there's also a slight chance you might have to hunt them down towards the very end, which can be unfortunate. Hey, this flag set. It's fine. It's fine.
That it is. We have 4 tremendous runners on screen. We have Garen in the top left, Morpheus, Tybalt, and Bangagong. Garen, Tybalt, and Bangagong were participants in the recent Eblin Elixir League, and Bangagong, I just want to point out, went 5-1 in the Eblin Elixir League, a really stellar tournament for him. And do want to thank our restreamer Dathis and our trackers Zald and Engidave, who will be helping us out tonight. One of the interesting things about this flag set that no sirens are available, but that doesn't matter. You can't get experience from encounters, and you can't run away from them either.
Yeah, I mean we're just seeing sirens used for common egg grind. It's kind of a staple, but I mean today I gotta have to rely on traps doing a lot of the heavy lifting and getting in the loot. So it's kind of it's one of those deals where oh, this is already spicy. You start with the darkness crystal. So um just let the seed let the seed do its thing. You don't have, and I think getting the free character probably will be some of top thing or some of runners are on their mind.
What a start! You have a Kane hero, a real power couple in Kane and Rosa, at least in Kane's dreams. The D-Mist, who has a key item all by itself, gives us the Darkness Crystal, immediately opens up the moon. That means one of the objectives, taking the Crystal Sword altar on, is already available to us. Just what a start! And chat pointing out, it's a really panic-inducing start.
I mean, it's darkness. It's my friend. It's a very, very, very. That was a very spicy start, and you have kind of a lot of interesting things on the table. I think we have some of the trap. I think the trap starting kit. So we can take on the hair dryers immediately if we deeply want that experience. I mean, if you want a fast start, you might want to go after that. Probably might want to pick up a few bits of equipment, at least get Kane online to speed things up. If we've see Gordon looting the just the waterway, and it's a pretty good place to start at, just for loot. Although I don't know if that came out with anything of value, but it's usually a good place to start. And of course, the free Damsian chests at the kind of the side area, which is very, very deep in treasure.
Morpheus and Tybalt heading immediately to the moon, and Deathlike, I like your suggestion of using that early trap kit to take on the hair dryers. Not only will it get you some valuable experience early on, but it also has a chance for a key item. And either way, it has a really good chance of getting a good cane weapon or a nice bow for Rosa, or a great piece of armor. Both Possum and Tybalt finding a moon bard, Edward singing to the moon tonight. The spoon flag is on, so if that shows up early, Edward will be a force to be reckoned with.
Not the character you're looking for on the moon, though. Especially, I mean, like this is pretty early, so early characters is fine for now. But I don't, unless you have something for him to contribute with. Not, I mean, probably he can hide in the background. That's a feature pretty useful in certain fights, like Odin. Evil Wall, where he can shine, but for now, not exactly thrilled at you kind of wanted a stronger character, but hey, you get what +1 character is better than nothing.
Moonshop didn't have much of anything to recommend. A Cure 2s and a bomb potion. Possum pretty much bought some Cure 2s as kind of out of obligation. Kainatsu is at the bottom of Antlion Cave as Garen is discovering, and Garen will easily dispatch of this turtle. The waves coming out, not much to be concerned with when he only has 1,000 HP.
Yeah, I think at the early spots, you're really not concerned about the difficulty. Since wave is derived from the current HP of the boss, the damage scales at stronger spots like this, but at lower HP spots like the Antlion Cave versus something like Elements, which has the biggest HP pool to draw from. It's not quite the same threat.
Would you like second White Mage? Bangagong finds Porum on top of Mount Hobbs, being guarded by Leviathan, and here's a wave that actually does percentage-based damage, so that would be a little more concerning.
It's actually safer because you compared to things more dangerous. Percent-based HP doesn't matter if you're level 99 or level 1. The HP scales is based on how much HP you actually have, and so if I don't think apples were available in usually a lot of these flexes, but if they were, the more apples you feed him, the more damage you'd be taking. So and especially if you don't have the healing to go with it to heal up from it, I mean, it's not a threat. Leviathan is a lot more scary early on with the Ice 2, depending on the spot. So not a complete threat, but hey, at least Kate is still gonna get XP while he's taking a nap, as Sea Hero is on in this flag set, if I'm not mistaken.
It sure is, and Kane is our hero. Tybalt did find a defense sword in Eblin Castle, in danger of potentially losing it, but does manage to hourglass those mad ogres that will quell them for the time being, and should be able to recover.
Yeah, it's certainly a gamble, especially if without having gained a level. Just you have to kind of survive the wave of damage. And it's fortunate that as you know, the 3 mad ogres. So in this 3 characters, so if they all hit for death, and just hit to kill, essentially, it would be a wipe. So there are spots that would be much more difficult to survive from, say the skulls and Stale Golem, where there are 5 hits to come. So the fact that there's fewer enemies is good. But I think trying to get off the saw some assassin dagger action and not triggering the swoon proc. So it's gonna take a little bit of time for the Mad Ogres to go down, though.
Possum Morpheus doing the exact same strategy, although is quite a bit luckier with that first swoon. Does get a life glitch off as well, and that will really help him.
Yeah, there's some familiarity with how of getting the swoon proc. Just is basically if the ATP is empty, regardless of whether if it's your character or the monster. If the status if this is status attack, it will pretty much be 100% proc outside of accuracy, that which will influence. But once you get a hit, you probably proc, and so Possum Morphe is very familiar with this, with the system trying to take advantage of, is making the most of it.
Bangagong, the first of our runners to get an objective, goes to defend Fabul like the noble warrior he is, and defeats Rubicant, who was the invader today. And that is a legend sword as well. So a big Fabul castle. Bangagong first on the board.
Yeah, Ruby can be tricky at some spots, but at this spot, there's no spell power to speak of. So if a glare hits, especially at these low levels, it'll murder a character. But pretty safe, given you have Kane. You won't be able to. If you use jump, you can avoid taking the fire 2 counterattacks, which probably, well, at this stage, not a threat, but certainly if you do a Berserk King, not do enough damage, that damage does add up. So that's kind of a thing that you can get concerned about if you're doing insignificant damage per hit.
Both Tybalt and Possum get a crystal sword from that Mad Ogre's chest. Tybalt immediately flees the premises with his gains. Possum is going to go for revenge, round 2 on the Stalemented Skull.
I think, just because you picked up a crystal sword doesn't mean you get a Cecil. It's one of those things where sometimes a seed plays a nice fun game with you, where you get the best item, but you don't get the thing you need, and that is possibly one of the things that can happen here. Don't get too excited with the stuff in front of you. Sometimes you still have to get the character to worry about it. And there's a mop. I love this mop.
That's a fun mop. And it really comes at a great time.
Is there no such thing as a party mop? That's what I know. There's a party rock, but is there a party mop?
Ooh.
So this is a star. Oh, hey, we found Blarg, and hope you're ready for what comes next. But still, this is a joke. Yeah, it thinks it's a plant, so that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, Wyvern gonna make us sneeze. Pollen is very annoying. Not especially troublesome.
It's like a weak virus. You split damage, not mistaken, but the HP leak can be kind of lethal we've gained some levels, so it's not the same threat. But not waiting for nukes to come out. So when you see the wall come up, it's almost time, and you might want to do some creative things like hide Edward. So those reflecting nukes, they go to a void, and we have the other. We have Kane as the hero, and you have 2 guys that can hide indirectly from Kane. You could pretty much kind of send nukes into the void, and this is fine. This is fine.
Tybalt's Edward is actually not doing no damage, so that's something. But Tybalt also on the board, defeating Wyvern. Gets the wrong kind of crystal from that, but does get a Fusoya who's immensely helpful at this stage.
I think the Assassin Dagger, the best thing on the Assassin Dagger is it's kind of stat boosting, so it's kind of a good stat stick. The only real negative is its poor accuracy, so you kind of see it kind of better used on an edge if you really had to, or if you just really want do the spoon proc. But it's the only deficiency is on the same thing using on an edge is that you lose spell power. So if you put it on Iridia, you forget. Oh right, I can't. My magic's gone down.
And Possum did fish a spoon out of that Stalemen and Skull chest. So Spoonward online for Possum, who's quickly forming a little posse here.
Yeah, given K-Trap, Castle Evelyn is a popular place to be. I think I missed it. I think it was an Exhale. It's hard. That was the quickest blur. Like, I mean, you can see the length of the. I can see the length, and I can like make out the word, but like, it's yeah. No, when you're looting, you don't care how fast, as long as you pick it up and just finish the treasure screen, also known as inventory boss, when you have too much junk.
Dibble taking on the Antlion in Mist Cave, and our runners, well, between all 4 runners, we already know where all the boss checks are. There are no more boss hunts. That D-Mist is just hanging out in Baron Castle, waiting for us to get the Baron Key. So, if you like boss hunts, sorry, it's over for now.
Well, you still have to hunt for the key, for the Baron Key, but that's fine. This is another free boss. Although normally you would say, hey, 3 hits, Waterhead goes away, but free bosses, not the case. So Waterhead is empowered to do just punch you all day, every day, and that's fine. But no free bosses has other greater implications for like easier bosses, but mostly DKC, who is still at large and could be guarding really nastier spots than this. So this it's just a reminder that no free bosses, it means no free cakewalk for you.
Yeah, well, it isn't often you see Fire 3 performed on a Water Hag, but Tybalt shows with enough firepower that Water Hag goes away. And now both Garen and Bangagong heading to the moon, and Garen gonna take a look at that hair dryer chest. Does have a couple of hourglasses floating around that the person who throws them will just need to survive. And that cane does. No betrayal there. Garen is home free.
I mean, this cane has some levels, so you just need and cane. By design can equip all the heaviest armor, so can be pretty defensive, just like Cecil. So it's just a matter of making sure he's since he's the anchor and in the first spot, so he just has to stay alive, and that's all that matters. Although I don't think that was the intended result, so that's a nope. Apparently, don't think. I think it was. I think it got the hourglass off, but I don't think it just didn't like it the way it was going. So I guess it didn't matter.
Yeah, and Bangagong took one look at that Edward on the moon and said, "Why did I come up here? Reset back to the blue planet."
I mean, you're gonna have to. The thing is, you still have to go do the scene again when going to the LST to do the altar. So I mean, unless you can avoid the altar, which is kind of unlikely in this flag set, I guess be lucky. It's not. I mean, I guess given that we have Force Magma is on, but we can still go through the hook route indirectly before actually getting the Magma Key. So those objectives actually kind of fight against each other. Force Magma doesn't might not actually get you the hook immediately, although hook can have the hook route can actually guard the Magma Key. So it could be like deep into Tower of Babel in the quad Matterorcus chest. So it is possible that you can go that far just to pick up the Magma Key. It's kind of a artifact of how it's designed, and sometimes it's worth paying attention to occasionally.
Well, Bangagong is about to find out why he wanted that Edward, because the Staleman Skull, if the fight goes well for him, will yield the spoon. Garen heading up Mount Ordeals. We're starting to run out of places for that Magma Key to be. Mount Ordeals could be the place. Ashura is the first spot here. More annoying than anything, but not really a threat.
I think we just performed the double wall, specifically Star Veils, to get the wall on Azura and make the fight a little bit more trivial. The alternative strat, though, you could consider using Life Lock, where Purple Azura casts Life 1, and that doesn't. So and when you hit, you kind of move the faces back, kind of one. Like she goes in a specific order. I think it's the Cure 4 face, the yellow face, then her human face, which casts Cure 3, and then Life face. So you can manipulate it, but it's a slower strat. So it's one of those. Do you want to consume J items for this, or do you want to just beat her up? But that's unfortunate Cure 4 on Gurren, and I think that was a reset because that didn't go the way he wanted to.
No, and Ashura there, like we said, not really a threat, but it can take a very, very long time. And Garen said, I'd rather be doing something else.
So some rare usage of casting Cure 2. I know. I'm trying to remember if Porm has that kind of spell power. Early game, purchasing Cure 2 potions have or items in general have a spell power multiplier of 8. Typically strong. It's basically an item is typically stronger than Telus spell power often, or early game characters. Even your white mage such as Porm or Rosa, their spell power hasn't reached those levels yet. So sometimes the power of having the item can be more powerful than the spell power of the mage that's casting. So sometimes it's worth your time to buy those items. Cure 2 is especially useful at any given time. Probably declines a bit towards later in the game, but early game Cure 2s are invaluable, especially if you need to get out of jam.
Tybalt, the first to complete 2 objectives. Possumorpheus right behind. Garen going to be about a minute behind, so a very close race early on, as this seed kind of funneling our runners, I guess, toward ordeals at this point. Given the character configuration, I think most veterans, even Possum, would more likely fade Mount Ordeals as much as possible, because you don't have the characters that would need it, but when you only have 4 early key item spots, we have Moon, but this flag set expects us to kind of do the underground. We don't have key items ungated, where we might actually have to do the Moon to get the magma key, or that way. There are flag sets that can be created to do that, but this is not one of them. So you're expected to complete essentially the 4 overworld checks. Antlion Cave, Fabul, Barren Inn, and Mount Ordeals. So you're guaranteed to you bump into something to eventually lead you to the underground access. So Begagong continuing to clear out Eblin Castle. Tybalt has not actually completed the seed. We are bringing his stream back up momentarily. Good time to remind you that there are actually 12 runners here in the community race tonight. A good showing, and we'll keep you updated on their progress as well. But we're grateful to our 4 restreamed runners for putting themselves out there and giving us all a lot of fun here on a Friday night at the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Community Race.
Hey, it's a nice day. This is fine, right? This is fine.
It is fine.
It is. There's also one spot worth considering, because it's also like Mount Ordeals is probably not the last place because of K-Trap. So Castle Abilene is the main set, and the hairdresser just shouldn't give you the access you need anyways. The last place you may have to look at would be Zokt, the Flame Dog chest. Yes, Flame Doggo. That might be the last location if it's not on Ordeals, and if someone doesn't like their Ordeals to climb, maybe skip that altogether and hope it's in Zot. So that's not. It's actually for runners. It might not actually be the worst thing that as soon as we find out that is the place to be. So right now, Possum are probably best equipped to take on whatever's on our deals. So this is fine. Where back attack is always a sneaky thing, and this is super free because surprise, this is actually free even with K free on boss free. Yeah.
Just will have to take King and Queen Evelyn down to the Hades physically by force if necessary. A very manageable fight here on the back attack. Another reason that Ordeals is more helpful for Possum than it was for Garen a moment ago is because Possum now has Fu. And 3 bosses on Ordeals, 300 more HP, 9 more spells for Fu. Definitely a reason to make that climb.
Yeah. When Fu's introduced to a seed, then you start doing like Mist Cave, the back waterfall, and you just do those just to get Fu online. Is a free enterprise specific feature. Fu needs to you just need to kill bosses with Fu. Even before getting Fu, each boss you killed gets empowered, and you need 4 bosses. And this is hard required, amount of ideas required. So if you like your Fu, you like finding out that there is squid on the crystal ground, because we don't know how the ethereal squid has decided to walk through any terrain.
While we were away from Tybalt's stream, Tybalt did make that Flame Dog play. Apparently found a Luca key from petting the dog. Also found an Artemis bow while he was up there.
I mean, I think the warp glitch is on, but we already know where D-Mist is, so probably has less value, especially with Fu eventually going to pick up warp whenever if he hasn't already learned it. So I mean, having a black mage, having Fu or any black mage in your party with warp makes the dwarf check much nicer, especially getting the free kit and without having to traverse the cave. Some people don't enjoy that walk because it take a minute to get to the bottom. It's the scenic route. No trapdoors to harass you unless you want to take on trapdoors, and those don't give you experience even in this special, particularly in this box.
Well, look who came crawling back. Suddenly, Bangigon gets a spoon, and the bard is valuable. Huh. Bangigon did head back up to the moon. Once he has that spoon, said, "Oh, I can make use of this, Edward."
Yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes it's not a penalty to take a character. I think, and so for some runners, like if you don't need the character, or he's basically going to just take up space and not contribute, then it's understandable. But then the item shows up, and everything changes. So it doesn't take much. Like if a Bahamut summon dropped, welcome to the party, Rydia. That's it doesn't take much for some characters to just change your mind on one thing.
And Garen going to make sure that Asura is extra crispy dead. Uses Medio strats with Fusoya, gets revenge in the best way.
Yeah, you just throw rocks at the problem. Just picked up nuke, of course. That nuke would have been preferable, but hey, just to be, you just need to nuke it from orbit just to be sure.
Possum heading straight into Dwarf Castle. 2 key item checks here with that warp glitch being on. Not going to have much of a problem really with any bosses in here, you would think, based on his party composition, his kitted out. He's got a defense sword cane, a spoon word, and Baron guards here. Even though they're not free, they cannot be stopped, but they should be handleable.
Yeah, I mean, Possum still like just. I think everyone's gonna have the same party comp up to this point, and I think the if you need to dispose of a character, my favorite character, Porm, she's probably the first to go. You don't like you already you've three white mages essentially, and Porm is at this point is the extra white mage. If you can upgrade, especially with the crystal sword burning a hole in the inventory, you a Cecil, if Cecil shows up, will be a welcome addition. So that's probably, so if there's any reason the character you want shows up, Porm is probably going to be the first to go. So, and Possum, we'll find out who that character is in just a moment.
Yeah, puts a couple of Baron guards right in the microwave. Has no time to deal with them. Bangong and Tybalt taking on the hair dryers, chest, the Proceo Jugliote. I've never known how to pronounce it. That's why they're called the hair dryers. And that was a key item. Was that a twin harp? That is a spicy key item.
I mean, who doesn't want music? I like music.
We all want music. It's not a required objective, at least unless it's hiding, say, a Baron key or a hook.
You never know what an objective is gating some other or the key item is getting some other key item that's required for your objective. So sometimes, for some runners, it's a gamble. Like if for some reason, say like we know what demist is, but say demist is like behind package. Some runners will just go do package outright and then hope that the demist is right behind package, right behind package. So sometimes you do the key items for the objectives if it leads into it. Like you can do, of course, you can do other objectives as you have access to it. But sometimes, if you're a gambler, you can especially in a randomizer, you can just try doing what you don't have to do anything in any particular order, but you can do it in any order that you think best gets you to win. It's a randomizer, so anything can happen. And that's a wonderful pickup because that's one less thing to look for.
So that is a pan from the warp glitch check from Possum Morpheus. Bangong making a very interesting play here, going to the giant and checking out that last arm chest. With 12 runners. If you want the glory of coming in first, maybe you take a risk. And Tybalt actually going to do the same thing. Just going to take on all of these kind of out of the way trap chests. Possum Morpheus, meanwhile, heading down into the land of summoned monsters. Not going to check for the warrior's chest on his way down here. But will check out what's going on in that free chest. See who the bosses are, although it doesn't really have to.
It's interesting to seem to skip it. Given that you have a foo, it's kind of free, just free knowledge. Just pick up. You're on your way. You might as well do it. But it's a decision. Maybe it's not here because it's always. Key items for what they are. They're not guaranteed to be at a location like there's a ninja robe, but we have no ninja. So yeah, at least yet.
Go ninja shirt, go ninja shirt, go. Sorry, have to do that.
Yeah. The last arm, it's like an alert. It's not quite an alert because it doesn't summon anything, but it's for the most part, it's harmless until you trigger the fission. And because that a search was happening, normally fission hits all targets, but since the search was pointed at Fu, Fu only took the damage. So sometimes and which is it's an indirect benefit of how that the monster setup. But I think it's just solid ribbon. So not the key item you want, but ribbon's good for that laughing man. That laughing man.
Yes. So definitely not the key item they were looking for. A nice piece of armor. Both Garen and Possum Morpheus now taking a look for that warrior's trap chest. And the item from Luca, by the way, before the pan that came from Dwarf Castle, an almost entirely useless Pack Claw.
If Yang shows up, But I think at this point, picking up a Yang probably
Too
it's not
late.
it's.
Too late.
I don't think it's ever too late, especially with a slingshot. But it's not as interesting. I mean, if only you could replace Kane, but he's the hero. But there's no. It's hard. It's hard to.
With no EXP, how are you gonna slingshot Yang from one fight to get him up to usable levels in a time effective way?
Just fight a very dense treasure, very dense treasure chest. There's, I mean, hair dryers, if it hasn't been already done, always a good start. Slingshot be really valuable. First of all, need a full party of 5 characters, and the character has to be 5 levels below the median level. So it's the middle, not the average, not the mean. So it's not hard to remember, but sometimes the rule can be difficult to remember sometimes. And the best part of it is up to 2 characters because the mean in the middle character. So if you get 2 low level characters, like you just found a base level Radia, and that would be, and who else is on the table? Maybe another base level is like Palom, for most of our runners, they'll probably just in line for for the slingshot for both those 2 characters, but probably not going to happen. Maybe Porm, maybe at the Yeet, but yeah, always keeping slingshot at the back of your mind when it comes to when you get a late character and you want to get them levels. This is usually the way.
Garen does pick up a white shirt from the Warriors. Morpheus about to get his robe for the White Mages. Rosa and Porum will have to fight about who gets to wear that. Luckily, they don't have to compete with Cecil at this point. While Tybalt finishes clearing out Eblin Castle and Bangagong makes his way up Mount Ordeals, do want to thank our trackers, our intrepid trackers tonight, Enjadave and Zald, and our restreamer Dathis for bringing the show to you tonight on a Friday night. As we said before, there are 12 runners running this, and we're getting to show 4 of them. We'll keep you posted on how the other runners are doing as well, but we have a heck of a race here before us, and Morpheus going to make that pan check, going to have 2 key item checks. Remember, the K summon flag is off, so Yang will not give us a key item here. Maybe he'll give us something nice, like an Avenger.
Or another cat claw, because, cat claws. As long as things don't burn down the scenes, this is fine. This is that item. It's fine. Actually, there are bosses, especially certain spots where the Moon Veil is supreme. I mean, the higher level you are, the less benefits there are to a Moon Veil. But early game, especially if we have a punch heavy fight, where certain spots like Leviathan or Bahamut, where the damage is over 9,000, something just really just high bits of damage where you get immediately one shot. Moon Veil for your berserker or your character that's gonna just burst them down. That there's a lot of value in it. So as the seed goes on, the value declines, but that Moon Veil pickup, not underrated, but that was a hook and not what we want. The other thing.
Tybalt, the consummate showman, is giving the people what they want, going to chase after that part. But I know Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise was recently featured on a podcast about how it's a great example of kind of a community-driven randomizer, where the togetherness of the community is even more important than the gameplay. And this is one of those times. Tybalt gets to show us one of over 400, 500, I believe, songs put into the pool, mostly by Xenocat, some by Calamity, and it is a wonderful time to hear some music, some randomized music from the Bard himself. Enjoy. Well, that was the Junior Paratrooper theme from Paper Mario 64, and my fingers are bleeding just thinking about playing the harp on that one. But all it is an hourglass 2, and Tybalt immediately resets. That was a risk, and it's not going to pay off.
Hey, you just want to throw rocks at it. It's a bad CPU, so you gotta throw rocks at it. That's a solution to a lot of problems sometimes. Just throw rocks at technology. See what happens.
I've worked in some places where the server room seemed as out of the way as Cave Magnus, so I definitely understand the urge to go after the CPU with whatever's available. But Possumorpheus in Cave Eblin did find wine in the item shop there.
Yeah, having J items is a godsend. You want like things like Bacchus wine. So basically, self-medicating berserkers can take advantage of it because, hey, you need to get angry at something. You got to get angry at Z. But Z is not in this flex. We need to but we still need to fight bosses, and some bosses you need to get more angry than anything else. So there are some boss fights that can be more stressful than Z, in fact. Having J Adams kind of expands your options, as you're not dependent on white mages. Although there's like 3 of them, it's hard to you might not need be as dependent on Bacchus wine. Now, Zerk has learned at a fairly low level. Fu, on the other hand, needs to just have picked it up after defeating a boss. So, but pretty easy to pick up considering the group comp.
Possumorpheus did pick up the Baron key from the Staleman. That is required. That is a big one. Does find Sid at the end of the trail here. Garen, meanwhile, going to take on the Sylph Cave Trap Chest. A big swing of a play here as well. Possumorpheus will be able to have access to at least 2 objectives up and down here on this route, though.
I mean, it's a gamble when you do Sylph Cave early. That's the least likely thing to do. It's like the kind of the most fated thing in K Trap, just in the nature of having 7 chests in the cave, varying difficulty from super easy Toad Lady to very nuisance mobiles and the ever common ghosts that never seem to die. So especially the K Trap set that you start with. Usually, if you haven't consumed all your hourglasses, mute bells are also on the table to mitigate the spam, the fire tree spam that ghosts inflict on you. So it's one of those things where you kind of you have your setup for it, although with the food primarily, they can be difficult to get the quake off. So you could, or medio. That's overkill for these monsters.
Garen does pick up the pink tail. No adamants in this flag set, so we'll get another high tier item. So the pink tail not quite as valuable as it might be in some other circumstances, but still a key item, and going to continue to plumb the depths of the Sylph Cave. And Death, like, nobody's doing the real play. Keyless Tower.
I mean, Keyless Tower is actually a kind of a strong place to go in this flag set. Just on the nature that you have 4 trap chests.
Hook route. Wow. Possumorpheus snags the Earth Crystal from the Mad Ogres. That is also required.
I think that's. I mean, that's pretty much. Outside of the tower key, which we might not even. Well, we still need the package, but there's still plenty of things to go.
Possum needs 1 key item to be in go mode, either the package or the tower key. Has the Baron key, has to complete Liberate Baron, has the Earth Crystal to complete the Tower of Zot, has access to that Crystal Sword Altar. Now, there could be a very mean, punchy enemy at the Crystal Sword Altar, but and I'm sure Possum would rather have that tower key in order to save another trip to the moon. But Possum is very close now.
Yeah. When doing the the hook route as part of the objectives, it easily routes into Keyless Tower. So this is probably the next logical course, unless the tower key is somewhere in Sylph Cave, which is possible, but not completely unlikely. Especially with Keyless Tower, always a fun threat. Especially with, could be like the tower key could be in the trap chest or just be at the boss at the top of the underground direction from the underground going up. So to the Dr. Luge spot, I mean, there's multiple opportunities to find the tower key without having to do everything. And given that all the main key items has to be somewhere not on the moon, you're incentivized to just kind of be thorough in your checks. So maybe you'll probably very likely to see Possum just get after getting the Falcon, immediately getting down and then getting it back into the Tower of Babel.
Garen did find a sand ruby in Sylph Cave, going to depart, not having done all the trap chests, going to complete the pan check, get his hook from there. And so Garen will be a little bit behind. We'll see where Garen decides to go, whether to go back into that Sylph Cave or follow Possum down the hook route. But Possum threw the dolls in no time at all and into the underground, completing that particular objective.
I think I missed the boss on Possum's peak on the bosses because you can peak that when you haven't defeated the boss at that section from the underground. So but it shouldn't be a problem regardless. There are too many bosses that will stop our runners, at least or they'll probably slow them down a little, but there just aren't too many. There's still a bunch of bosses that are still difficult on the table, but they could, in the best case, be stowed away on the moon that we don't actually have to show up for outside of the crystal altar spot. So this is not. It's not that it's. Oh, he didn't. Surprise! He didn't go that route, which is interesting.
With two objectives outstanding, Possum, I think, is going to take the very defensible approach of do your objectives, because sometimes they chain into each other.
Yeah, I mean, from a routing perspective, it's not as convenient, but if you have a guaranteed objective and has a chance of getting you another key item to another objective, there's always sometimes taking your guarantees will save you time. That doesn't work that way, but it's a nice some loot, and I think
rate that treasury.
Yeah, and it looks. I'm looking at it, and right now it's just heroin rope, or you probably already have out of 10, because that was a pretty weak treasury.
Yeah, that wasn't great. The sparse 80 hit it as well. A lot of stuff that you already have, better stuff. Another hourglass if you need it, but they're for sale. Yeah, that's like a 4 out of 10 maybe for me.
Look, not every treasury is that great. When there's a treasury where it gives you everything you ever want, that's like S tier, like best tier treasury. It just doesn't happen that often, isn't it? I almost think it's more like like certain spots in different randomizers where, hey, this is where the best loot is, and then you get disappointed immediately. It's just and you know what, in the Troya treasury, there's a lot more to go after, and it's a lot easier to get more disappointed here. More opportunities to be disappointed. That's how I would like to look at it.
And Possum does go back to pick up that Artemis bow, still looking for the Flame Dog chest. That's probably one of the factors that's animating his decision to go up here. It's another key item check in addition to that objective to be completed. Did find a fire sword earlier in the vanilla spot, although not under the vanilla Flame Dog.
You know, the fun thing about the Flame Dog chest is that the Flame Dog has literally a special script just for its treasure chest. It's very, very rare that it happens that way. But boss scripts or really just monster scripts in general usually are not specific to a spot, but it's designed that way, and it's unique. I mean, sure, you kind of see it later on in later Final Fantasies, but it started with the dog chest, the flame dog really, but yeah, but when you still get burned, it's all you can remember at, and that's the special thing about Final Fantasy IV.
Bangagong in Dwarf Castle, and Tybalt is in the Tower of Zot, or in the Tower of Babel, I should say, going to do the keyless tower. And if there's a key item here, this is a chance maybe for Tybalt to claw some time back.
Pain Man in a painless position. Maga Sister spot, not a real threat. So, Nuka gets you mostly there. Although, Fu does have Nuke, but isn't like a top tier powered. Would call it like kind of I guess above average. So you get some decent nukes, but it's never a quad 9 unless you kind of stuff them with all the wisdom stat sticks like Stardust. But hey, I don't see that old man coming to our party though. The other one.
No, we already have like the not store brand Tella in the party, who's fully powered up, blasting nukes on the regular. So no need for Tella. Also too late for that Rydia as well.
It's technically not too late, but there's no Bahamut, so there's no reason. Like you would probably just eat the Porm if you had Bahamut, but there's just right now no value. So there's no, and not a reason to slingshot her at all. I mean, Rydia learns nuke at having gained a million XP. We don't even have the D machine grind at our rims, and oh look, it's Alt Gauntlet.
It's too late to summon, guys. It's too late. But yeah, the Alt Gauntlet here, a lot of fun. We get to see Epee Girls and Ice Liz and Ice Beasts. Lots of fun encounters in this. Tybalt did pick up a key item from one of the chests. I did not see what it was.
It's probably, I'm sure we'll figure that out. It's there's sometimes, I mean, not all key items are created equal. Let's be sure, because some lead to a dead end, some lead to a boss like package, some like
and in this one it was a crystal, which we could use to go say hi to Zeromus for no reason. But Tybalt did pick up a rat tail, which is another item to go fetch with.
I mean the hook. I forget where the hook we picked up the hook, but that is
from Sheila.
Oh yeah. So right now can't really redeem that rat tail. Rat tail is a kind of those. Hey, try again. Reroll for another key item or something useful, or maybe useful. Like this. That's what I look at the rat tail as. Hey, reroll for another key item. But I don't think any of our runners have picked up 10 key items for the double XP yet. I think Possum has 9, so it's just one off. So maybe after the Gauntlet, we'll be picking up a key item after that. So we'll see if Possum will has reached double XP.
You shouldn't have. You got me a jelly and a slime and a cream. What more could a fella ask for?
There was technically a theme for the jelly enemies, the flan as they put, and of course the slime isn't something that you want to take, but the enemies, are most memorable for the most part, having almost max defense. I mean, pink puffs being the only exception, but they basically you have to use magic. You most likely going to use virus, but if you expose their elemental weakness, they go away. But virus is just easy, simple, and especially at early game, very useful. So and especially with Flan, virus makes them go away pretty quickly.
The top of tower only has a glass helm for Tybalt, so Tybalt will just have to be happy with the two key items he got on the way up. Possum Morpheus does complete that objective, and look what it gets. Another objective. Possum Morpheus in go mode.
Sometimes things line up, so and it just happens that it routes perfectly. It's a router's dream where you just pick up the key item to the objective you want to go to anyways, and you just happen to land there. How convenient.
Yeah, I love it when a plan comes together. Meanwhile, this has not gone according to plan for Garen. Faced with a big doll here, forced to pull out the heavy guns here, the big nuke cast, and hoping that the big doll does not split back apart into the regular dolls, and he has to start over from square one.
It can be difficult to trigger the revert doll reversal. I mean, a doll grind can be a thing if you're not doing quite enough damage, but not a grind you'd actually want to look to.
Yeah. Well, does get through, will go into that pitfall. Possum taking on the D-Mist at the Baron spot. Another great thing about this routing is the Earth Crystal, the Tower of Zochek, just drops you off right in front of Baron. And hey, you have a Baron key, and you need to do Baron Castle as an objective. How convenient.
I mean, it's more like keyless tower when you get the tower key in the tower. But you need the required key item, and you don't have it, and somehow it spawns there. It's kind of nice when it comes together. It is. But we see some version of Mylon. I think we haven't seen the Z one, so
We haven't seen either.
Oh, that's the Z one. So.
It is.
So dance parties elsewhere, and for it.
Yeah, Mylon Z is all by himself as ruler of the throne, and Possum Morpheus's party will depose him in no time.
And he is also silently hovering, as one Mylon does, except for the elements, which doesn't hover. It's what it is. But that was a quick fight because it doesn't take much for Spoonwort to cleave through anything. I don't know how Spoon got so sharp, but it's a utensil. That's what it is. It's a utensil.
Too many times in the dishwasher, and the spoons will become sharp and the knives will become dull. That's just the way it works. Possum does see a Quake Kid waiting for him in the castle, sends him away before he could be turned into stone. So that's very nice of Possum Morpheus to do.
I mean, right now it's kind of too late. You don't want to do a second grind for a character that Fu will do most of the black magic work. I mean, but Porm is also redundant. But it's like if the Quake Kid showed up a bit earlier, maybe Porm would have gone. So it's one of those. At least I'm sure in Possum's mind, it's probably too late for the Quake Kid. Extra damage without having to use Fu, as Fu's MP is quite low, and a holy sword for a paladin that has not shown up yet.
Tybalt and Bangagong now fully ensconced in the Sylph Cave, and so we'll try and keep an eye on what they get from their adventures. Now this goes beyond what Garen was doing earlier.
I mean, gotta leave a trap chest unturned, unopened rather, and no, that's a free key item, not a key item, not even a key item, not item worth looking at. Remar way past its usefulness as it is. I mean, when you go to Mist, the town of Mist, you generally want to come from the right side because if any reason you have the package, the tile that triggers is when you are entering, and just move right starting from the left side. So that's just that's can be a thing that trips runners up every so often because that's where we trigger the package.
I think Possum was looking for the package exclusively from that check. I don't think he was going to be interested in doing anything else.
Yeah, but it's certainly not something you want to go out of your way to do. But it's just I see some vanilla. No, wait, are we in the right place?
Yeah, this is a vanilla dark imps here from the super cannon room, and while Possum takes care of that, we have a first place finisher. Harumph finishes in first place with a time of 59 minutes 20 seconds, sub an hour on a Friday night community race. GG's to Harumph.
GG's. I mean, we know. I mean, it's easier to kind of piece together like after the fact. I think we still. I mean, with all the knowledge, I mean, each runner will not have the same knowledge another runner has, but as a kind of a collective view of our runners, we have kind of guess how that could have been. Although, still has to go through all the objectives that are on the table. We'll pick up another key item on the way out of completing the super cannon, as would have picked up a drill, but that's reserved for a key item that comes more as a free enterprise specific quirk.
So we'll see what Possum gets. You know, we could speculate that this key item could be a package, save Possum a trip to the moon. But that's just speculation based on Harumph's finish. I don't have any knowledge of that.
I mean, and a lot of things.
That is a package.
See, there it is. See, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
And so Possum will save the trip to the moon. It isn't often that the package saves anything, but you'd much rather deal with the package than take a trip to the moon and walk all the way down to the Crystal Sword altar.
The thing of it is, that's the Zemus Fire. Oh, that's actually surprisingly a good bomb fire image that goes with the randomized sprite. It's perfect.
Yeah, Zemus didn't want us to forget about him. We know you exist, big guy. Oh, and yeah, you don't have to complete. You don't have to fight the boss in Kaipo Inn. Burning it down is sufficient already. Possumorpheus finishes in second place with an official time, pulling it up here, of 1:02:26. GG's to Possumorpheus. Get those GG's out in chat. For Possumorpheus, our second place finisher overall, and first place on Restream. We'll see if he wants to come in for an interview.
Yep, GG's to Possum. I think. I mean, now we have a better picture. I mean, given that. We know we didn't have to go to the moon for anything. I mean, it's just really just a character picked up two checks, but ultimately we didn't have to do any sort of moon dive. So that's if you were praying for that seed, this was it. You didn't have to pick up Spoonward, but you would have been remiss to not have a Spoonward doing a lot of work over Kane, surprisingly. Yeah, but another betrayal.
And we do have a third place finisher, Fiery Blizzard, coming in third with a time of 1:03:08. The times are coming in fast and furious now, as Garen and Tybalt and Bangagong start to get on their path to victory as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things will converge. I mean, especially in this fact that there's no, since K Moon is not on the table, outside of completing the objective, like the key items will not be. You won't find the objectives on the moon. So that means the LST is clear, and K value, unfortunately, is not surprisingly falls under the K summon, which is also off. So so basically, Fade March was fully on display because you didn't have if you didn't have to fight the bosses, you didn't have to you didn't even have to really peek at them unless you were hunting for that particular boss, which we found even like 15 minutes into the match. So it's like, what there was the Fade March was in full force.
Very much so. Ruby being in Fabul, Wyvern being in the second spot in Baron Inn, and Demas being known at Second Zero really made the boss hunt focus, really turned that off. And we are joined by Morpheus, second place overall, first place on Restream. GG's.
Hello, thank you. GG's.
So with a Kane hero and only one moon objective, did you expect this seed to kind of come together as jetty as it seemed to?
It always has the potential. If K Trap doesn't hit, and outside of the hook route it didn't hit, then it's just do your objectives. So that chance is always out there. Did I think it would? Honestly, no. I figured there'd be some involvement of tower traps, which we weren't well set up for, or sylph traps, which we were even worse set up for, or the hair dryers, which we didn't get Quake till 1800, or the last arm, but like trap just didn't hit outside of the hook route. So yeah, that potential's there. It just happened to be there today.
Yeah, that was some hook route. When you decided to dive the hook route, was that part of your do your objectives mantra?
Honestly, it was also a way for me to get food to 1800 to get me Quake. Because the first boss is always going to be relatively free, barring certain disaster bosses. But having Nuke already, but no Quake, was like, I really want Quake. And that was a boss on an objective that would give me Quake. And then the dolls were there and was like, okay, well, I mean, this is air quotes free anyway. I don't trust the Quake I just got, so we're going to Meteo. But the point there was to do my objective and to get Quake to do hair dryers or Sylph if needed. And then it just happened that, Zot and Baron were both on the hook route. And it was like, okay, well, we're just going to go do those now. I was a little sad about my gauntlet up on Zot. I was fast anchored to try to play into the speedy Kane thing, but by having heroine robes on everyone and delaying Fu's turns, it actually made that gauntlet so much worse. So lots of little things that could have been cleaned up by actually making the party slower instead of faster, which you normally don't want to do, but here we are.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta go by Sonic's mantra and just keep on going fast, right?
Yeah, gotta go fast.
I think this seed. I think that with the characters laid out as it were, there was just so much power that you gain, especially bumping into the Fu in the Baron Inn. That was like that. I think that's. I mean that's it. That seed's just sped up really quickly.
Honestly, finding Fu was probably a detriment to my overall cause, because I had put so much time into Eblin. I didn't get any swoon procs, which was annoying, and then Kane kept low rolling the defense sword jumps, but getting the spoon and having Edward and being able to really leverage that was great. Finding Fu meant that everyone else had an out that I may not, that I didn't need per se. So yes, there was a lot of power with that Fu, but I was kind of annoyed that he showed up. I was happy Cecil didn't, with the crystal swords and X-Skiles that were all over. But I also didn't want to see Fu, because I was very much so prepared to just have Eddie tear through the seed. So seeing that Foo fairly accessible in an easy to get to location after I put all that time into going to the moon and then, coming across the Spoon and Eblin right away, trying to get levels for people, I was like, well, that kind of stinks because a lot of folks are going to do this in reverse order, and I feel like this is just a time waste now. Foo can blow everything up faster than Eddie can, and that means I'm behind. So it was kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, all the power is there, but it wasn't good for me. I know it's kind of a long-winded explanation.
Yeah, so that's an interesting take on a thing. Like I usually, if you have all that speed, you're defeating his purpose because he's for being fixed speed and all. Like there aren't many. I don't think you probably picked up too much in the way of agility, increasing equipment. So yeah, except for like a Heron robe, like you've changed the focus of things to such a way that if you hit A to win, yes, but if you could have sped it up with Quake Kid that you've yeeted late in the seed, that it makes total sense given what you had.
Yeah, definitely. It was still fun though. The flag set's enjoyable. I know it's a hybrid of the Eblin Elixir League flag sets, and I think it was Guerin did the flag set creation on this one. So shout outs to them. It's a fun one for sure.
Well, any final thoughts, Possum, about this seed, about these flags, about anything you wanted to say?
No, just huge GGs to everyone who has finished. Those who will be shortly finishing on Restream, those who will be finishing off Restream. Huge GGs to Pyramid as well. Sub-hour is a whale of a time on any flag set, but on this in particular, like with the difficulty settings, that's a bang-up job by Pyramid. So just GGs to him and to everyone. Thank you all for the behind-the-scenes work. Deathlike and Sheep Launcher, of course, on comms. Zald, Dave, and Dathis doing tracking, and restreaming respectively. So yeah, y'all have a great rest of your night and appreciate being able to be on as always.
You too, Possum, and GG's once again.
GG's again, Possum.
And while we were chatting with Possum, Jay Brunter finished in 4th place, time of 1:06:43, and Roger McVeigh finished in 5th place with a time of 1:09:34. GG's to them both as well.
Yeah, I think we're mostly nearing to our end. There's still a bit of race to run because you can't leave any trap chest unopened. So it's one of those things where you just sometimes have to go through the motion just to pick the things up because you never know where things are. You're not trying to loot because of loot. You want the actual key items, and so it always feels like you're over looting, but you need the key items. So you have to kind of optimize our routes. It's very uncommon, especially unless you're doing K-trap.
And not to metagame too much, but I think it has to be clear to our runners at this point that another trip to the moon is probably not going to be in the cards, that everything that our runners need is on the blue planet. So they're going to try and scour the Earth rather than leave anything behind.
Yeah, I think Scythe was for the most. Yeah, I think it was. So Scythe is like kind of devoid of anything of value, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So and that's the thing to fade. So it's like, if you had to do part of it, for any particular reason, you at least I would try to clear out, say, the pan side of things. You get, I don't think it's quite half. I haven't actually done an actual count, but if you do half that cave, it's better than doing a full clear of Sales Cave. Just look at the XP, and you might get some decent loot, and then you at least check a kind of a reasonable amount of trap chests on that side. If you actually had to partially do that cave without a full clear, much easier to do when you have the pen in hand, obviously. So that it's because due to routing. But other than that, you know, you don't want to go empty-handed in a well, there's 7 trap chests, but still a pretty good chance that 0 key items show up. So that's just one of those things that you want to be more kind of be familiar with, I guess, when it comes to the randomizer and key item distribution.
Tybalt did turn in that rat tail, did pick up the adamant rock, and with both the adamant rock and legend sword, decided to go forge it and got one of Kane's legendary weapons, and now Kane is able.
Yeah, so the whole mythos, or kind of the thing behind Kane, not left, not left, because Kane and Abel, kind of one of those old kind of those old stories that still has some meaning, and kind of it's a kind of small representation of Kane. But the reason is it actually makes him like strong, really strong, because Kane, of all things, without gambling on a hero weapon, like he's just as many a runner call it patently average, because the weapons Cecil gets, the stronger holy swords are just that much more powerful. Like Excal, easily stronger than anything Kane can wield on a normal game. And since the Forge allows for Supersmith, at Final Fantasy IV Advanced Port, the weapons puts Kane pretty much on par with Cecil. So if you felt really bad about Kane's weapon options, Forge makes Kane's weapons super he just becomes a lot more valuable and not patently average as usual.
Microcorgs finished in 6th place with a time of 1:13:21. Judge Joe in 7th place with a time of 1:13:45. And while our runners are finishing up, I do want to shout them out for really their great play in the recent Eblin Elixir League. Garen, a member of Bring Your Own Bacchus, Tybalt, a member of We Wear Shorts in Winter, and Bangagong, a member of Silvera Petting Zoo. If you haven't had a chance to catch a race or two of any of them, definitely go back, check it out either on VOD or on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. And yeah, it is great to see the runners continue to get their reps in and to continue to have fun here in the community race. As Possum said, do want to thank our trackers, Zald and Enja Dave, our restreamer Dathis, and thank you, Deathlike, for bringing the knowledge as always.
Thanks. I'm just having a lot of fun, and I just, without our tracker, just restreaming, like it's like I can't catch up. I can't catch it all. Like there's 4 things on the screen. Maybe I have a little ADD going on. It's like I can't pay attention to everything at every moment. It's just not possible. Like the buttons that have to be pressed, especially in the worst case where especially if someone if a swipe happens and then you reset into to a point where a character hasn't saved, runners haven't saved as of late, that's a lot of work to remember. Oh yeah, that's the last time you saved. So having a pair of trackers for a community race with 4 runners on Restream, that's a lot of information that even I can miss. It's gonna happen, and I think even if you're watching, you're like, I can't remember if he did what. That's just this person did what. It's just not possible. So having our trackers do the work, the meticulous work, is better than my memory sometimes.
Garen finishing up the Tower of Babel, destroying the super cannon, will get the package, and I believe after Garen burns the Village Mist, Garen will be done and will have a time in the books.
Yeah, it's kind of nice how I think most everyone's gonna probably have their seat end with the package being picked up after doing super canon. So it's just a matter of time. So it's
Yeah, the
and just
seed ends with Zemus, as it should.
but it's easy. It's not easy.
True. And Garen gets the congratulations screen. Garen has finished in 8th place with a time of 1:19:30. GG's to Garen.
Yeah, GG's, and I mean, this is his flag set. This is, I mean, it's a mix of, as I said earlier, both the previous league, the Moonville Vixer and Potion Party. So it's a nice combination. It's like, so if you haven't watched that league and although I think the best part of the league was the names. The team names were I would say the best part of that league, because I don't know who I would call, but I would call it Golbez, 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 and Golbez for my luring needs.
Very much so. So, Garen, we'll see if we can get Garen in for an interview and pick their brain about what went into this flag set and whether they have any more bright ideas. And we are joined by our 8th place finisher, Garen. Garen, GG's.
Thank you.
So, whose bright idea was this flag set anyway?
Mine.
One thing we've been hearing consistently from the racers over these last 2 weeks is how enjoyable the flag set has been. How did you kind of come up with the idea?
It was very late at night. Always a dangerous time to be thinking of ideas, and thought about, hey, what if I just make a scene where everything is just on fire? This is not the first thought, but then I thought, hey, sort of like a flaming moe. Just take up 2 seeds with the Potion Party Moonvale mixer, throw them together, light it on fire. What could be the problem?
Oh, this is fine. This is fine, completely. I'm sure. I think you were here last week with me, and this race. I mean, having played the community races, did you? I'm hoping you enjoyed what you've created, because this looked very, very fun. The mashing of both flag sets, and the kind of nuanced in its own way.
Yeah, I buy that.
Well, how did you approach this particular seed tonight? Kane Hero, 1 moon objective, and it turned into a jet seed almost instantaneously with that early darkness crystal.
Yeah, it did. Although, it turns out the food was waiting for you in Baron Inn, not on the moon. Go figure. And there was that wyvern there. It's like, oh, I don't have any power to get really past this right now.
Well, with Witchburn unable, Full Blood wasn't enforced, so I mean that. At least, but given the early levels, some of runners probably did it earlier with very few levels. I mean that pollen could have been more lethal than it should have been.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I had gotten a few levels before I took it, so it wasn't too bad. But it's like, if I'd ever checked for the Flame Dog chest earlier, I found the Defense Sword for Kane in a much better spot. It turned out. Oh well.
Yeah, there were a couple of defense swords. I think there was one just lying around in Eblin Castle.
What was it?
What was kind of your approach to this seed? Were you looking to advance any particular route, take any particular chances?
Well, I really wanted to get the hairdryer chest early for some levels and a chance at the key item. Turns out it wasn't necessary at all, but not a large enough party. Couldn't get the assassin dagger to work with Eddie, so it's like, yeah, never came back. After that, it was just a whole lot of Fu swag rocking for a while there because he wouldn't learn Quake.
Were you trying to proc the assassin dagger on these hair dryers because they're immune to that? I think the timing for the say for other chests, I think the mad ogres that commonly see it procced, the timing of that can be tricky. Hourglasses.
I don't think I've ever tried to do it with the hairdryer chest with assassin dagger before.
I don't believe fatal actually like the swoon proc doesn't actually work on them. You actually have, I think you have to damage them all the way. Although maybe I could be wrong. I think it's definitely not stone like the easy kills. Those they don't easily go down. That's you just have to just damage them. That's my recollection of them.
I'll take a look afterwards.
Well, Garen, any final thoughts about the flag set, about tonight's race? Anything else you want to get off your chest?
I think it's been a fun flag set. I've suffered through it twice. I've commentated through it twice. I mean, I think it's a pretty good split. And I think a little club running over there for the Hero Island isn't quite like this, but it's similar in a lot of ways with the objective set being win and things of that sort. So, if you like the community races, you might like that. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Well, GG's once again. Garen, congratulations on your 8th place finish.
Thank you very much, and GG's. Thank you for doing all the commentary. I'll have to watch this back and see how many jokes were in the seed.
Well, Seed had jokes, for sure.
All right. Have a good night.
GG's again, Garen.
And Cubs Rule 21 finished in 9th place with a time of 1:22.14. And as you just saw on stream, Get Bangagong finishes in 10th place with a time of 1:25.51. GG's to Bangagong. We'll see if we could get him in for an interview as well. And Tybalt will not be terribly far behind here.
Yeah, I think last week I think there was one huge gamble. Everything worked out. This time, not all gambles are the same, or they don't, and also they don't always pay off. So sometimes you win some, you lose some, and if any endpoint had to clear Sylph's Cave, this seed is a guaranteed time sink.
We are joined by Bangagong. GG's.
Well, thanks so much.
So that was a really interesting start. The Kane Hero and an early Darkness Crystal. What was your first thought out of the gate?
Check the moon pretty quick, but definitely do some of the early stuff, like check Hobbs, do Antline, all the easy stuff, get it out of the way. But do moon and then kind of gear up to check Eblin and everything there while I got some characters to get all that experience, because sometimes it's hard to come by. And
that was a really early spoon that was available in Eblin Castle, which suddenly made that Moon Bard much more appealing.
Oh my god, and right after I reset out of seeing him, I was like, I don't need Edward. He's... Unless I find a spoon, or it's like the next thing I find. So that was great.
I mean, it's not every day where you pick up an Edward and you eat the Edward to only find the spoon later. Well, you've just done it, and who hasn't? So don't worry about it. It's not the first time. It won't be the last.
I did get to slingshot him off the hair dryers though, so that worked out kind of all right.
Oh yeah. We spoke of the hair dryers being valuable XP. So especially when you get the chance to use a slingshot, the actual value in the levels, the XP gained. Who doesn't want a much more functional Edward when he has a bunch of levels to take advantage of that cutlery?
And a bunch of apples to eat. That always helps too.
Yeah, not in this flag set. We had to uh, keep him keep him away from the apples. But we really saw a lot of a good play from you. Really, an example of why you went 5-1 in the uh, Elixir League. What was kind of your strategy going in? Were you wanting to take risks? Were you wanting to uh, take on any particular part of the world early on?
Overall, I think I just wanted to life glitch as much as I can because sometimes you run into a tough boss that you need to beat, and like levels are hard to come by here. So all the trap chests I could, try and life glitch them, find hourglasses. I love K trap, and I'm a lot more liberal with my hourglasses than I was in Potion Party because you can find more now.
Yeah, talking about earlier that the starting kit where you have all the basically the K trap item list. Hourglasses and meat bells are just so valuable in a seed, especially early on. So just not just to pick up the treasure on the other side, or the key item or not, but just particularly the experience that you need to progress. So there's total significant value in trying to life glitch all the things, because hey, those trapdoors, no XP, things that normally like you would have used a siren for, no XP. So your calculation is dramatically different just based on that alone.
Yeah, I was really glad to find him in Feymarch too, because I went right back and looked for the Warrior's chest, and then you can go through Sylph and do kind of the half of it on your way down without really much to worry about.
Well, Bangagong, any other final thoughts on this seed, on these flags, anything else you wanted to talk about?
I'm gonna miss K Trap. I'm glad I made a comeback for a little while. Glad I got to do one of these races too. This was really fun.
Yeah, well, we were glad to see you. Thanks for volunteering to get restreamed, and GG's once again.
Yeah, thanks everyone on the restream team. I mean, this is always such a blast.
It sure is. We enjoy watching it, and I know everybody enjoys playing it. And hey, if this sounds fun to you, and you're not in the Discord yet, get in there and become a part of this, either by running it or by commentating it, or both. Do it all, even at the same time. Bangagong, GG's once again.
Thanks so much, everyone.
GG's getting Bangagong.
And Tybalt finished in 11th place with a time of 1:28.36. We will get Tybalt in here for an interview. First, really quick, want to shout out Ryudo. Finished in 12th place with a time of 1:28.54. It was Ryudo's very first community race, a very well done race. So a special GG's to Ryudo. But we are joined by Tybalt. Tybalt, GG's.
GG's.
So, what did you think of that scene? It seemed like you visited everywhere a whole lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for something better than Edward being on the moon. Something a little better to try to do the hair dryers the first time I was there, but fine. I'm clearing through, and nobody's finished. I'm not getting any key items. I'm like, where is everything? Like, okay, maybe everything's down in Sylph. Wrong.
Yeah, Sylph was a big fat zero, right? Sand Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, I got the defense sword for Kane. I'm like, cool, I got early power. I'm happy. The Mad Ogre fight took, a little bit longer than anticipated, but, what can you do?
I mean, I think like last week where there were some some things worked out, but the gambles here didn't quite pay out the same way. I mean, it's usually it's bold to clear out the Sales Cave, but on the flip side, it's a terrible feeling when you get nothing out of it.
Yeah, it really is. And I was down there. I was at least going to clear out what I had along the way to make it, more appealing if I had to go back down a second time. But when I started finishing, and I'm like, I come to the tower key. I'm like, all right. Oh yeah, I've got mismarked objectives, which is why I was checking because I forgot to set them up before the race actually started. But I'm thinking to myself, if it's not behind this tower key, I'm not going back to Self. I'm going to go to the moon to do the altar up there. I know exactly where that objective is. Most of the scary bosses were out of the way. The alt gauntlet. The only really scary one would be like Val, but with the party we had, it was not gonna be scary at all.
Yeah, a lot of the scary physical bosses were out of the way. What did you think of nominally 3 bosses to hunt, and they were all found within the first 15 minutes?
Yeah, I'm okay. Demas gives you your first key. I'm like, cool. That makes Baron key, Baron key a really hot item to find. All right. And then you go, it's like, hey, I go to the moon, get everyone fine. And then you check Baron in. Hi, here's Fu. Are you kidding me? You put Fu here at the Baron Inn? Fine. And then it's just a matter of getting Fu power, who learned Quake super late.
See, he's giving you Meteo at what, 1300, and you're complaining about not getting Quake till 1800? Come on.
Look, Meteo is fun, but it takes a long time. We could always use more Meteos. I mean, I did it against the dolls. I did it against Azura. I did it against CPU. I think I did enough Meteos.
I mean, that's more than average. I mean, when you get that spell early and you have plenty of targets for them. I mean, just throw rocks and everything. Don't. It's fine. It is totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, it's throw rocks. It's instant high damage. Like, you're not worried about anything besides taking too much damage on your Fu. So.
And you were also the only runner on stream to show us Abel's lance. Is that your favorite Kane ultimate weapon?
Oh yeah, I at least I want once, just once, for to be a Kane hero. You get Abel's lance super early in darkness and have a party of mages. Use weak with Kane and do a machine grind with it.
I mean,
just once.
It's the freest of grinds. It's the freest of grinds if it ever happens that way. It is the freest of grinds.
Yeah, I know everybody's propensity for hating on the D machine, but Abel's lance, like, come on, can't get much better than that.
Yep, Tela completely optional. Tela food, they don't have to show up. That is the dream, but you know how difficult it is to forge that early.
Of course.
All right. Well, Tybalt, any final thoughts on the seed, these flags, anything else you feel the world needs to know?
Yeah, it's always fun. I'm glad to have these community races back, kind of getting out of the swing of things from the tournament. This flag set kind of brought us back into the tournament a little bit. So does the tournament never really end? But no, it's fun to get these back in the club season, to have all the different clubs coming up again. I know we've got one coming up tomorrow, and then Sunday that's not being restreamed, to my favorite Baron Heroes Journey. So always love the club scene. A lot of people bring a lot of fun ideas. and you can have a lot of fun with those. So definitely check them out.
Well said, and yeah, definitely check out all of the various races going on. There are lots of asyncs that you can run at your own on your own time, and compare your times against others. All kinds of fun flag sets going on. Just a whole lot of fun. So check those out. Tybalt, thanks for being restreamed as always. GG's once again.
Not a problem. Thank you for restreaming, doing commentary. I always enjoy watching these back. So hopefully I'll pick up on something and I can do it better next time.
Tough to
Have a good
do,
one.
but we believe in you.
Oh yeah, always a hard with this crew. Have a good one.
GG's again, Tybalt.
GG's.
Once again, do want to thank our trackers tonight, Zald and Dave, our restreamer Dathis, and thank you, Deathlike, for hanging out with us on a Friday night.
Certainly, it's late night, and it's not too late, as there'll be another race coming up. Not this morning, more in the afternoon, 3 p.m. Mom's Spaghetti Race. I think it's a new club for the season, and
that'll be on
3 p.m.
Free Enterprise Prime, not on Free Enterprise 2. So be sure to check that out.
3 p.m. Eastern. So we're starting the off season of clubs. So join on the Discord to find out what they are, what they're about, and the kinds of shenanigans that are being run. Because there'll be something for everyone somehow. There are so many clubs. New clubs pop up. Some old ones sticking around. So there will be plenty of fun, and of course there'll be more new community races as well. As usual, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and again Friday at this time, 10 p.m. Eastern.
But for now, definitely stay tuned. We are going to raid Lady Arcaders. Their marathon is in progress. Lots of great folks over there. We'll show them some love. Until next time, for everybody here, so long.
See you all next seed.